Welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Larry Manns. My guest today is Denny Dwyer, who's the coordinator of community education for the Port Huron area schools. Welcome, Denny.
Thanks, Larry.
You just finished a spring baseball training camp.
Yeah.
Now, that's been going on for a few years. How long?
This is the 6th year. And
Already?
believe it or not, we talked about this a few years ago when we first started it. The spring training baseball camp is every year right around last Saturday in April, first Saturday in May. We've had any number of former Detroit Tiger players that have come and acted as instructors for boys and girls ages 7 to 15 that want to learn the basic fundamentals of baseball.
What's the enrollment? How many do you have this time?
This year, I think we had a record this year. I don't have the exact numbers yet. We're still kind of sifting through all that, but it's over 100 kids. And that's the best I think we've ever done.
Now, as part of the community education program, you know that you do a number of these things, and this has been one of the most successful. But what happens, let's say, if Saturday was a rainy day? What would you have done?
Boy, I tell you, it would have been scary anyway. But luckily, Ross Green and John Campo from St. Clair County Community College were willing to let us use the college gym. If it would have rained, as you know, the camp has to go one way or the other. When we bring the former pro players in, we can't reschedule the date. So if it would have rained, we would have gone into the community college gym. But thank goodness, the Lord seems to smile on baseball players or something. It rained a little in the morning. We got through most of the day, and coincidentally, it rained a little bit at lunchtime. But the biggest thing is the kids were great sports about it, and the parents and everybody. And Little League Park had just built a brand new building there that we could go find shelter during that short period of time. And we waited out the rain a little bit, went back out, did some hitting in the afternoon, and it finished in great style.
I know it's always been a success, but one of the things, that sort of digress just a little bit about that is that as your role with the coordinator for community education, you have to make these contacts within the community.
Right.
Community college, for example, helps you. How are these things funded, Denny?
Well, basically, as you know, our community education program is funded completely on a self-supporting basis. We don't really use it. We don't use any of the tax dollars that come from millage votes and so on. So everything we do needs to pay for itself somehow through the revenues generated. And in a program like this, when we bring the former professional players in, it's pretty expensive as far as staff costs. So all we do is go to the local community and say to some of the local employers and businesses, can you help us out to do something special for the kids that normally they would not get a chance to do? And this year we had tremendous success with that and brought in quite a few sponsors that way. And also some of the services were donated. The community college gym would have been offered to us at no cost because of
Of course, we have a
agreement.
reciprocal agreement with that.
Right, and we do that for the college and vice versa. Port Huron Little League Park and their group were just fantastic. And they gave us not only use of the facilities, but a lot of manpower before the camp to get the fields ready to go, and a lot of extra manpower that day that just helped with little things. Larry Mosirak, for example, helped us get equipment to the right diamonds at the right time so the instructors can do their thing.
Well, in essence, really, this is sort of a help to the Little League organization. If you get these young people in this camp, their season opens about May 5th or 6th, as I remember. So some of these skills that were presented, I'm sure, are going to help them.
Oh, definitely. And they had a chance. They had their open house that day for this new building they built, which, again, was the same thing. They had a lot of help from the local community. So we kind of helped each other out. We brought a lot of people out from all over St. Clair County, as a matter of fact. It's the Port Huron Area School District program, but we had them from St. Clair, Marine City, out in the west end of the county, just all over the place. So we had some from Croswell. And
of course, that basically is the purpose of community education,
Sure.
bring these groups together.
Sure.
And speaking of that, you mentioned the fact that the community supports this.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of the sponsors that you had locally that helped with this camp or helped at least to finance it?
Oh, I tell you, and without them, we can't do it. And the nicest part about this is these people that I'll mention now that helped us out were very, very willing to do it. And a lot of other people were willing to do it too. This year has not been a great year economically, as we all know. But these people were not only willing to say, yes, I support the concept of the camp and want to do something for the kids, but also did some wheeling and dealing in their advertising dollars and said this was important enough that they'd help us out.
Well, I think we're finding that true, just for a second, where we know that if we can impact these young kids or young children at this age, with all the drug stuff that's going on and worthwhile activities that they need to be involved with, this just enhances that. And I know Kiwanis, maybe one of your sponsors, was it? That's one of the goals that they have in terms of young people.
We're trying to teach kids baseball skills, but also meet professional athletes that exemplify those kinds of ideals, that you need to work hard and practice hard and enjoy what you're doing and take care of your body and keep that clean and stay away from drugs and alcohol and abusing your body. And mainly just really doing some things through sports that would eliminate the need to do those kinds of things. So, and these local employers also helped us do that. We had quite a few this year. In fact, we had 10 people that
Really?
basically helped us out. So one of the first ones
that's
we
more
had,
than last year, though. Too.
that's a couple more than last year. Yeah, the costs keep going up, that kind of thing. So the first group we went to was the Target stores at Birchwood Mall.
That's an interesting thing because the Target stores, with being a new addition at the mall, and I know wants to be involved. There are a couple of other people up there that are trying to help too. So that's a good sign.
They're terrific. It was a good beginning. I mean, they were real helpful with us. Also, as you mentioned, the Kiwanis of Port Huron helped us out, and they've helped us out in the past, and this is their second year as a sponsor, so they did a great job. We had a brand new sponsor this year, Carr Simpson Crawford Funeral Home. Friend of ours, Tom Simpson.
Oh, yes, right.
Tom was just more than willing to help out. In fact, he sponsored a baseball team I played on when I was young. So it was
Well,
nice
there may
to
be
have
some
Tom back
influence there too, because his wife, former teacher, worked with children a long time. So
boy.
maybe there's some feedback knowing what's
Yeah.
going on. So I want to give her some credit.
Oh,
too.
definitely. And Tom and Company, terrific people. Also, a brand new sponsor this year was Anthony Nelson, who runs the Sawmill City complex out at the KOA campgrounds. It's the new batting cages and putt-putt golf course and so on. He was real helpful in this whole thing. Sam's Advertising was also one of our sponsors, Greg Reynolds and Company, and they printed up T-shirts for us, souvenir T-shirts that kids could get.
Oh, neat.
that
That's
had
a
the
great
player's
idea.
name, and it was just really nice shirts too, real sharp looking. Also, the folks at O'Connor Realty in Marysville helped us out. And this is the interesting part. We sent flyers home with the Marysville schools this year for the first time also. And some of the Marysville employers and businesses responded with that too. And O'Connor Realty was one from the Marysville community that helped us out. Also, they have a Port Huron store.
Well, of course, our community really expands just beside, beyond the borders in that sense too.
Sure. And then there was Pat Hills from Flagship Credit Union.
Okay, Pat's been involved with the hockey program.
Minor hockey, and definitely really into kids, real supportive of kids. And Pat was right there. All I had to do was ask, and he said when and how much, and that's all it took. Also, the Optimist Club of Port Huron, with Ron Tolles being their president. Ron was real instrumental in helping us out with his program. And also another new one that's really a business that's really into youth and doing some constructive things with youth is Vern's Planet Neon Cafe in Marysville. Yeah, the neat concept. They're trying to create a place for the teenagers to hang out, basically. They do karaoke there. They serve ice cream and all kinds of things. But they, again, were very willing to jump in and say this is a constructive thing for kids in our neighborhood, in our area, and just count us in. So those people really helped a lot. Now, as I mentioned, Port Huron Little League, who did so many things as far as manpower and letting us use the facilities. Also, a couple of people, Tom Manis was willing to help us out.
Well, of course, Tom, a graduate at Northern and longtime softball and baseball player, terrific bowler, by the way.
Sure.
Very interested in what's happening in the community.
Got some help from Moore, Polvens, Wilbert, and Marsh, firm up in the north end of town, our insurance company, and they did, again, a great job of helping us out. Mike Loth at Port Huron Building Supply kicked in a little bit. So all of these people have helped us in one form or another throughout the years, and they're still more than willing. Even if there was tough times and they've done a lot of other things for the community, they were still willing to give something, and I really appreciate that.
Real community effort.
Representing the sponsors for this year's spring training baseball camp, we have Gwen Lapp. Gwen is involved with the Target stores at Birchwood Mall. Gwen, first of all, let me thank you on behalf of all the kids that got involved in today's camp and the Port Huron Area School District for helping us out. I understand this is something that Target does quite a bit, being involved in community events and activities.
Well, Danny, it's really a pleasure to be part of the sponsorship today. We do feel at Target stores that interacting with the community is a very important part of our business. We don't want necessarily just to be a business out there, and then we want the loyalty, needless to say, of our customer, but we also want to be able to give back to our community in any way that we can. One of those ways that we find, of course, is a sponsorship like of today's event. Many other ways and avenues that we use volunteer programs. Individuals at the store actually go out and they volunteer their time to do different events within the community. Two other processes that we use is that of the grant process with two focuses, one of them being for the arts and one of them being to prevention of family violence. We're very much into the fact that we want to make it a family enrichment, both as a shopping experience as well as anything that has to do with the community.
Well, on behalf of the school district and the kids, we really appreciate your help. You're the kind of people that make this camp possible. And Gwen Lapp from the Target stores at Birchwood Mall, and also thank you to all the rest of the sponsors for helping make spring training possible.
You mentioned the fact that Little League was involved, and there's also dedication of their new building, which again, you're talking about another community effort. That was really a great example. Who's the president of Little League this year, and what was his comments? Or
Well, the chairman of the board is Bill Warden.
Oh, okay.
And Bill and I have kind of worked together to do this the last couple of years, and Bill has been very, very supportive of the camp because he likes what it does for kids. He likes that it's special for Little League, too, and he's worked extremely hard for the Port Huron Little League complex and done a great job. In fact, we had a chance to talk to Bill, and there's some of the things that he talked about and his goals and the people that helped out from his end.
One of our special guests we'd like to talk to today at the 1993 Spring Training Baseball Camp is Bill Warden. Bill is the chairman of the board of the Port Huron Little League. This has been, Bill, is this the third year we've done the camp here at Little League Park? Third year. And Bill and company have been just extremely helpful with opening up the beautiful complex for Diamonds. They've been working round the clock. In fact, some of the people maybe you could mention that made these fields playable in a terrible spring.
Well, we got a young man working for us. Ron Hodgins is one of the manager coaches out here for a team. He's been out here every day for the last 3 weeks, hauling diamond dust. He's been, we retiled the fields. I mean, there's drainage out there now. The water is not going to lay on the fields anymore. It'll be gone. This guy's just done a tremendous amount of work. Larry Moserak, Pat O'Boyle, there's probably way too many to name, but it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of volunteers to do it.
And we've got, in fact, right now we're in the brand new building you built this year.
Building.
And how did that happen? That obviously just sprung out of the ground over the winter?
Well, what happened was we came up with the idea of a field house for our own meetings, tiger camps, things like this, and where do we go for that kind of money? We're standing in probably anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000 building. But Port Huron Little League doesn't have that kind of money.
Boy.
So what we did is we went to the business community, and a special, very special thanks to a man named Mark Petty, who is the owner-operator of T&N Construction.
Okay.
And he was a major part of this. He talked to a lot of business people. They donated. They give us a huge percentage off all the material, and we have a fraction of cost into this building, and it's just a fantastic building.
It's beautiful. As you look around, it's really decorated well. Today's the open house for it. It's the actual official opening.
And we are thanking all the contractors, the business community itself for what they've done out here.
It's a big day out here at Port Huron Little League Park, and then big thing I want to be able to say thank you to Bill Warden. He doesn't talk much about this, but he's the main guy that's helped make this happen and organize all these people, and along with all the literally hundreds of volunteers that make this camp possible. On behalf of the school district, I thank you guys for letting us come out. It's great.
You're welcome. We're glad to see you back for many more years.
And we'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know, it's that kind of effort again, that community effort, which you're involved with every day with the community ed activities, are really important, I think, to an event like this. And, you know, several people, I guess, we left out with the fact that who are the big league stars?
Oh, these are the important
Yeah,
guys.
no, those are the important
these are the
guys.
draw. Larry, you and I
Yeah.
work with kids all the time, but they don't come out in hundreds to see us, that's for sure.
The autographed hounds were out there too, I bet.
Oh, boy. And we had a chance to talk to each of the players, and that's we'll get a chance to do this right now. Our first instructor was one that had been here that started the camp. If you remember back 6 years ago when we were on Sports Talk talking about this brand new program, Milt Wilcox was our main instructor. And Milt helped also set up the other instructors for me, so he's been a great contact. But we had a chance to talk to Milt real quick, and he told us a little bit about where he's been in his career and some of the people he's played with, and more importantly, some of the things he tried to do in the pitching and throwing segment of the camp.
Well, here's our very special guest, the guy that helped start the spring training camp 6 years ago. Milt Wilcox pitched for the Tigers in '84 when they won the World Championship, and we've talked in the years past. You played with the Big Red Machine, and maybe some of those teams that you played for. Mention some of the guys that you've had the chance to play with.
Well, I've been pretty lucky in my career, you know, that I played in with a lot of great players. I mean, I started out with the Cincinnati Reds back in 1970, and that was the first year of the Big Red Machine, and that's the Johnny Benches, Pete Rose, Lee May, Tommy Helms, all those, David Concepcion, and those guys. And I was very lucky to be able to play on that team and to be the beginning of a dynasty there for 5 or 6 years. And they were just some great guys. And then of course I went to Cleveland for a couple of years and not too many fond memories of Cleveland. You know,
The legend.
I did get to play with some pretty good players. I played with Buddy Bell, and Gaylord Perry was over there at the time, and I saw him win the Cy Young Award that year in '72. And I learned a lot those years. And I went to the Cubs for a while, and then of course I came to the Tigers in '77. Spent almost 10 years here, and of course with our '84 team, winning the World Series in '84. And then of course, I had a lot of good times, Denny, and you started this camp about 6 years ago.
6 years ago, yeah.
And it's really progressed, and you got a beautiful facility here.
Oh boy, yeah.
This is big league facility. The only thing you can work on is the weather a little bit. This weather, I think every year you have the same weather.
That's that wrong 1-800 number I'm calling. I don't know what. I know the kids really ask a lot about you every year. You've been real popular here, and maybe you could tell us a little bit some of the things this year you were doing basically pitching and throwing.
Right.
Obviously, some of the kids are so young they haven't even thought of pitching yet. But what are some of the things you stress to them?
Well, I'll tell you what, I stress about the same things all the time. I think the most important thing in baseball is of course throwing a baseball, not necessarily pitching, but throwing a baseball the correct way, and fielding and catching a baseball. And I think those are the two most important things. I think the rest of the things kind of take care of itself. When they have Little League tryouts and they have people that go out and do scouting, they look and see if the kid can, first of all, throw a ball and catch a ball. And those are two most important things. And I really stress that. Sometimes the kids don't like it because I stay on it pretty heavy. And we play little games to try to keep their interest up. But, that is the key point that I think in baseball. Of course, you do have your catching and you got your fielding and you got your hitting, which those are important too. But the key aspects in any type of Little League organization or on a team is catching a ball and throwing it, and those are the things that we really key in on.
How would you go about teaching them control, how to throw strikes? What do you think is the main key to that?
Practice. Just getting out and playing catch. I try to tell the kids, stay off the Nintendo games, stay off the Sega games in the summer. Go outside and play. Play catch, play wiffle ball. Bounce the ball against the wall. Bounce the ball in the basement. Throw the ball against things and just pick out a spot on the wall and throw it. And, of course, talk to your parents about it first. You don't want to be
the window.
Yeah, you don't want to pick out windows or spots near the windows or walls where you can knock holes in the walls.
Right.
But, you can go in the basement, throw it against a cinder block or outside against, have your dad build a board or something. But that's part of the deal. You got to practice. Anything you're good at, you're going to practice at, and that's throwing a baseball.
Milt, thanks again for coming back. It's always a pleasure to have you out here. The kids just love it to death. And obviously what I like about it is you really believe in the game and love the game and stress the kinds of things that hopefully they'll remember.
Well, one of these days, Denny, I want one of these kids to make it to the big leagues so I can get some free tickets to the game.
I think maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Milt Wilcox.
Who are the other ones? I know you had several.
Yeah, we had 3 altogether. Another one we had that came back from a few years ago was Ike Blessett.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ike played in Hamtramck. In fact, Ike was a 3-sport star at Hamtramck. I understand he was a state 100-yard dash champion, I believe, and also a great football player, good basketball player. Played with Rudy Tomjanovich and some of those people. But Ike played outfield for the Tigers back in the early 70s, and also has played professional baseball in South America for quite a long time. So, and Ike is just loves to be at the camp. In fact, we had a chance to talk to Ike also for a few minutes. He talked about what he did in the outfield segment, but also some of the things he's done in his baseball career.
One of our real special guests this year at the 1993 Spring Training Baseball Camp is a returning veteran from a couple of years ago, Mr. Ike Blessett. Ike played with the Tigers in the early 70s, played the outfield with him, and Ike's been willing to come out and help us with the camp this year. Ike, thanks for coming back again.
My pleasure, Dave.
All right, come back anytime. The main thing, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you try to accomplish in the outfield segment? What are the things you're stressing to the youngsters?
Well, what I'm trying to stress to the young kids out here today in the outfield is that when the infielder misses a ground ball, they got the outfielder to back them up. When the outfielder misses a ball, he got to back it up. So I try to get them in front of the ball, the crow hop, hit the cutoff man, because that's very important. Because if you don't hit the cutoff man, the guys keep running. So you try to keep the guys from taking that extra base on you and catching a fly ball. Like see a lot of these young kids, they're catching the ball with the glove in front of their face, and then when they move it to see where the ball is, they get hit in the face. So I try to teach them how to catch a fly ball and throw it on a crow hop.
You had a whole different group of ages. We've had kids 7 to 15 out there. Did you see any common thing that they do wrong, maybe?
Catching the ball.
Okay.
A lot of them try to catch the ball like Willie Mays used to do. That's the, if you only got one Willie Mays, or you'll have certain people that can catch a ball like that. The way you catch a ball is two-hand. That's the way I was taught. Because once you try to catch it, the way Willie Mays catch it, or the glove upside down, that ball skid off there, hit you right in the face. So I'm just trying to teach a lot of young kids to get out of the habit of trying to shoestring a catch. That's all.
I think what helps is you played with the best players in the world, and to come out with the kids today, first of all, we really appreciate that, and how important it is, because you're seeing kids out here that love to play the game that maybe haven't got those God-given skills that you've seen in the players that you've played with. Can you think of anybody offhand, some of the guys that were not necessarily real talented but worked real hard at these skills, and you played pro ball with them?
Well, quite a few of them. Except me. I had skills, but I had to learn them. And baseball is, like I was telling the young kid, baseball is a 7-day sport. You go out there every day. One day you might do bad, you think about tomorrow. And that's what's so good about baseball. Football, you go out there once a week, but you got 6 days of practice. Sure. Basketball, you have 5 days of practice. But baseball, you're going out there every day. And one day a pitcher might be on, he might not. You might catch a fly ball, you might not. So you got to keep your head up. And that's what baseball is all about.
Great. Ike Blessed, this guy is always a treat to have at the baseball camp. Hopefully you come back all the time, because the kids have a great time with you.
If you ask me, then I'll be back.
Okay, great. Ike Blessed.
So you had all the areas covered, infield, batting, and catching and throwing.
There's the real important one. This year we did catching. I've never done catching before. We had a guy named Ernie Witt. He played for the Toronto Blue Jays primarily.
Witt always killed the Tigers when he was here.
We talked to him about that, and he talked about what he tried to accomplish with catching, knowing that not all kids are interested in catching. But he stressed some of the importance of good catchers and some of the skills. And also, again, a chance to talk about his career a little bit, so we can take a look at that.
At the 1993 spring training camp, we've had the pleasure for the first time to have Ernie Witt. Ernie, first of all, I know obviously most of your career you played with the Toronto Blue Jays and had some great teams on there. Unfortunately missed the world champs, but had some great teams up to that point. You played with a couple other teams also? Or?
Yeah, I started out with the Boston Red Sox organization, and I came up, and that's when Carlton Fisk was in his prime with the Red Sox before he went to the White Sox. So when the expansion draft came along and I was picked up by the Blue Jays, I thought it was, it was a break for me, and I had spent enough time in the minor leagues, and I was ready to go on. So I was happy with that. And then after my Blue Jay career, I spent 13 years with them. And then from there I went to Atlanta for 1 year and also to Baltimore, and that's where I finished up my career in 1991 with the Orioles.
Okay. Well, see, I know that. In fact, that the ironic part of having Ernie here, I remember so many times watching the Tiger games where you'd beat up on the local boys. I mean, it's always hitting ninth inning home runs and beating them and so on. But we welcome them back anyway. The kids love to see them. Let's talk a little bit about, you're doing the catching segment. First time we've ever done that, which I was real excited about. Maybe you can tell us some of the things you're trying to stress to the youngsters about catching.
Well, I think the basic thing that we want to talk about is just trying to get the catchers comfortable behind home plate and getting their positioning, where their footwork, where they're comfortable back there, where they're catching the ball out in front of them instead of catching it into their chest area. Because if they're catching the ball out in front of them and their elbow is not locked up onto their knees, they're able to move the glove all over the place, and they can catch the ball and receive it properly where the umpire can get a good look at it. And also we're working on basic fundamentals of fielding bunts, throwing them to first base, scooping using both hands. Along the first base line, again, scooping and stepping into the infield to clear the path from the runner. Also gripping the ball, throwing it with 4 seams instead of 2 seams, getting more velocity on it and a truer plane on the ball.
Do you think that in your career, being a catcher worked to your advantage? I mean, obviously catching is a pretty valuable position. Do you think that helped to have those kind of skills?
Oh, I think so. I wasn't blessed with God-given talent. I had to work an awful lot and awful hard. And I think that's the one thing that really put me over the top, was that my work ethics were really good. I was the first one in camp, the last one to leave. Just whatever the coaches would tell me, I would listen to. I mean, not everything stuck up there, and you're not able to do everything the way that someone wants you to do it. But if you listen to the proper techniques and you continue to work at it, you will find your own little niche that will get the job done. Again, you don't want to become a computer or a robot behind the plate, but as long as you continue to work to improve yourself and not become satisfied with where you're at and continue to work to improve it, you're going to be a better player.
Well, as a former pitcher, I know catchers are worth their weight in gold. I mean, if you have a good catcher or a bad catcher, it made a big difference on your performance on the mound. So I think that's what's real important, and we're really glad to have you here this year. I hope you can come back sometime.
Well, thank you. It's good being out here, and it's always fun working with kids.
Great, thanks. Ernie Witt.
One of the, probably one of the most important ingredients of the whole thing is what do the kids think about it?
That's the important thing. In fact, we had a chance to talk to a few of them, and they can tell us. That's the best way I could tell you, but it's better coming out of their mouths because they're the most important factor in the whole camp.
I liked it. I liked batting practice, and I don't know, I just thought it was fun today.
Yeah, I think it was pretty fun too. I like when we were hitting that lot.
I thought it was fun, and it's nice that they come out and see and teach us how to hit and catch and everything.
I liked it also. I thought it was fun being with the pros and batting. That's what I liked. Go ahead. I liked it a lot, and I liked when we got to hit and being with the pros. I liked it I liked it at the last part when we were hitting the balls.
You know, as we look at this whole thing, I'm sure that you had mentioned the parents. In several of these programs, I know that parents, because of their busy schedule, will bring their kids and then they'll leave and not see maybe their kid involved. A lot of parents hang around.
Oh boy, a lot of people. In fact, many of them jumped in and helped us out, and that was real important. We had people like Jim Young and Bill Wager and Wayne Gottlieb and some of those folks that jumped in and helped us do some of the unsung things, hitting fungos to the kids, hitting ground balls and fly balls, catching for the players so the players can get right down with the kids and really teach them individually. Another volunteer we had was Skip Webb, who had a chance to help us out that day, and his son Michael was in the camp too. And one of the very special volunteers we had that helped right from the first minute right through the end was my buddy Larry West. Larry helped us with registration. He helped me recruit some sponsors throughout the time I was looking for them, and also had a chance to work with Ernie Witt. As Larry's a former catcher, he and Ernie Witt kind of worked in the catching segment. So Larry especially was very instrumental and very helpful. Those kind of people made a world of difference and were willing to be there, but also not only just stand and watch and relax, which they could easily have done on a day like that, but they jumped right in to help us out. And Jim Young and I were talking, and Jim said he had more fun than the kids did. And we're like big kids as I was. I just love doing this camp.
You know, baseball as well as the other things that are happening in the athletic area. We've worked several years together trying to promote, worthwhile activities for kids, those that may carry over, those that may not, just to provide a good experience for those youngsters. And again, this is a good example of that.
Sure.
What annual was it?
This is the 6th annual.
Sixth.
So I think we may be here at the 20th annual. I've had people ask already, who's coming back next year? And it's hard to say. We've had a lot of names bannered about. In fact, this year, Jason Thompson was going to be here up until just the very last moment. And because of some business things, he could not be here. But we're hoping maybe we can get him again next year. But rest assured, in 1994, there'll be another spring training camp. And hopefully the kids will have as much fun and get into it. And I guess my big thing is if they can get high on baseball instead of drugs and drinking and things like that, and sports in general. We just had a great day. I had a ball myself, and the kids seemed to have a great time. They got a chance to get autographs from all the players. They got pictures taken with them when they were working out with them. Parents were out there with video cameras. It was just a real special day.
Those become family mementos, and the youngster will remember that for a long time. He may forget the skills and may not even play baseball, but he's going to remember that. And again, Denny,
Sure.
A great community education program, and you got to be commended for that.
Well, thanks. It's a lot of fun. I like doing it, and that makes the difference. So.
For Denny Dwyer, this is Larry Manns. Good evening.